Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to another week and to another children's story. This coming Wednesday, so that's in 5 days' time, it's going to be the anniversary of the shooting in Christchurch at those mosques. A really hard time for many people, and particularly members of the Muslim community here in New Zealand. So let's keep them in our mind and in our prayers and love for this coming week. And the story I've got this morning is kind of a cool one. And it's about, it's got one of the characters is a Muslim girl. And it's called My Two Blankets. And it's by Irena, Kobald, and Feya, Blackwood. Auntie used to call me Cartwheel. Then came the war, and Auntie didn't call me Cartwheel any longer. We came to this country to be safe. Everything was strange. The people were strange. The food was strange. The animals and plants were strange. Even the wind felt strange. You can see the difference between that scene and that scene. Nobody spoke like I did. When I went out, it was like standing under a waterfall of strange sounds. The waterfall was cold, and it made me feel alone. I felt like I wasn't me anymore. There she is down there. When I was home, I wrapped myself in a blanket of my own words and sounds. I called it my old blanket. My old blanket was warm. It was soft. It covered me all over. It made me feel safe. Sometimes I didn't want to go out. I wanted to stay under my old blanket forever. There she is. One day, a girl in the park smiled at me. Then she waved. I wanted to smile back, but I was scared. I kept walking with Auntie. When I looked back, the girl waved again. Next time I went to the park, I looked for the girl. She wasn't there. We went back 3 times before I saw her again. She waved and smiled, and I felt warm inside. The girl came up to us and said something. Her words were strange. It was like being back under the cold waterfall. But the girl kept smiling. She took me to the swings. I got up and she pushed me higher and higher. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to tell her how glad I was that we were friends. But I didn't know how, and that made me feel sad. When I went home, I hid under my old blanket. I wondered if I would always feel sad. I wondered if I would ever feel like me again. The next time I saw the girl, she brought some words for me. She made me say them over and over. Every time I met the girl, she brought more words. Some of the words were hard, some of them were easy. Sometimes I sounded funny and we laughed. Sometimes I felt silly and I wanted to cry. At night when I lay in bed under my old blanket, I whispered the new words again and again. Soon they didn't sound so cold and sharp anymore. they started to sound warm and soft. I was weaving a new blanket. At first my new blanket was thin and small, but every day I added new words to it. The blanket grew and grew. I forgot about the cold and lonely waterfall. Here's a big new blanket. Now my new blanket is just as warm and comfortable as my old blanket. And I know that no matter what blanket I use, I will always be me. And there she is doing cartwheels again with her new friend. It's a lovely story, isn't it? A story about immigrating to a new land and also finding words. We can offer each other words, not just the verbal word, but words that are not said, like the words of a smile, of a welcome, of doing something for others. It's a lovely story. My two blankets. She's fairly rich, isn't she, having two blankets, two word systems, two cultures, two ways of seeing the world. Blessings to you this week.